Today I want to show how to make reinforcement in Tekla structures by Grasshopper. There are several functions how we can make a reinforcement. Let's start with the simplest one, with a bar group. This is the easiest or like the simplest tool of reinforcement. So what we should do? Firstly, we need to have an object which need to be reinforced. This is a single path footing. Then we need to make a bar group as a tree component from Tekla. Bar group, this is here. So link the object for reinforcement in the part, define shape and range. So shape can be defined by line or another geometry. I made a line by 2 points, and now we see how it can be manipulated. So we see that this is shorter or longer. The same story with the range. We define the range of reinforcement, and then we see that we have a less bar and more bar. The main question why bar group is not linked to the foundation, I don't have an answer for that. In my opinion, this is a lack or bug of the Grasshopper, because we don't have any other attributes actually which can define at a different position. So that's why we see also our bar group strictly linked to the to the 0, like 1a, which means 0 of our model. And I think that's it for that function. Of course, we also can have some attributes who cover group. This is no problem, we can define by other attributes, but if the basic function doesn't work, I think it has no sense to discuss it anymore. Another function how to make reinforcement is link component from the Tekla and then link it with object. This seems more interesting for me. Let me show how it works. We have a component. Let's choose it. We have the same path footing somewhere. It is here. Let's say we have this component and we have this footing. Okay, first we need to know what component we want to use. Then we have a function to choose the node which has the name component catalog. Double click in the correct position, exactly click in the C, not on the name, not on the somewhere else, exactly in the C. And then we can choose any component from Tekla catalog. So I choose 87, starting bar for footing. We see it on my screen. Then attribute file should be defined in the Tekla first. Like double click, we see I have 2 attribute files, grass test and grass test 1. Then we should have an input. Input, it's an object which we define, so object which will be reinforced. This is footing, and put it here. And let me show you, if we choose one attribute file, we see one result. If we just rename it according to the name in Tekla, so we change the attribute file and we need now adjust it a little bit, like kind of update right? And now we see that our starting rebar became higher and the rebar in foundation make a longer. So it's a simple logic how it works. But we also have a problem. It works perfectly with one object, but if we want to reinforce all of our foundation, like in our model, the plugin cannot make it because we have a 12 foundation. We link it absolutely the same with the plugin input, and then our plugin made a mistake. This is not what we need. I tried to took several items using list item component. So let me show you like this. Then we can see the result, but it chooses only the one line of our columns, which is still not perfect and not what we need. So using the number slider, we can choose any line which we want to reinforce, but again, this is not what I want, right? We see I changed the slider and now different foundation was reinforced, but I personally would like to reinforce all foundation. And again, in my opinion, that I can make it faster using Tekla structures and just clicking all foundation, or maybe like normally we can make a reinforcement on one line and then copy all this line to other element. But I think you see that there is opportunity of that. If you really want to make it only by Grasshopper, of course you can just take this part of algorithm, copy it, then also copy list item, choose another line of columns and link it like this, and then of course update foundation again. Now what we see, we also cannot see two lines of reinforcement, which is for me unbelievable. Actually it should not be like this. Why? It's clear for me. We need to link it to the input for this reinforcement, input for another. Let's also change attribute file. Okay, this is slider in 2, slider in 1, update, and what we can see, we actually see no reinforcement at all. We see it. Exactly. Okay. So it works, as you can see, right? One type of reinforcement for one columns and another type of reinforcement for another one. But it can be reinforced only one line, because our footings actually, it's a list with 4 branches, and then by list item we can choose relative branch, and then we can get the reinforcement. If you have any question about list item, about lists and sets in Grasshopper, actually this is really important information, you can write comment below. Okay, and the third part of reinforcement, this is a slab reinforcement. We see in the model that our slab is already reinforced by the standard mesh. The logic is absolutely the same. We have our slab, which is cut by foundation already. We put it in the input. We choose component by a component catalog. mesh bar. I can't remember the number, but you just can search it by the name. Mesh bars, right? You even don't need to know the number, just search it, double click, define, and then we see the standard reinforcement. Can be useful for somebody. For me, still, it's not really a big improvement using Grasshopper. I can do absolutely the same in Tekla directly. So that's it for me today. If it was useful for me, please like and write a comment. If you have any question, I would like to help you. Please write anything in the comment section, and see you next time.